now we're going to look at part 4 of the guard passing sequence we've done up to now, where I'm in Chris's guard, and we're passing, again, close over the thigh, tapping that knee, coming across. And this time, though, so I get my posture, and once I break his guard open, I get my knee in the center, and I'm going down. See, I'm keeping his legs spread. I might start with my hand on his hip, but eventually I'd like to get my hand on the floor. Coming forward, my knee's coming across, my hand is holding his knee down. But you'll notice that he's on his side. And often when people get on their side and they're insistent on getting the underhook, you have to be real careful, because if I pass, he's going to come up to you my back, or he might go up to a single. Yeah. So when you're doing that, when you're passing and he comes up, if you don't have the underhook and he knows what he's doing, he is going to come up to a single or attempted back bear hook. From here, you have to turn into the wrestler. He's coming up to a wrestling base, going for a single, and you have to apply wrestling counters. So we've already done this sort of when we worked for the front headlock previously, so we're going to go now and look at what happens when I pass. He comes up. I do not allow him with his leg to lace my leg, because then he's going to be able to stay behind me, and my whizzer is not going to be very strong. So you notice that if I let him lace my leg like this, then I'm in trouble. So as I come through when I'm passing, this is instead what you want. As he comes up, I have to turn into him and make sure my whizzer is strung through nice and deep and my hand is inside my thigh. Because he's going to try to circle behind me like that. And his arms are tight, which means I can't string my arm any deeper. So I'm going to use my whizzer to loosen him up. And now, as I stretch him out, now I can bring this arm through. My other hand is on his head, covering his head, keeping it down. And I can grab my wrist and go to a quarter Nelson. So you notice how, when I'm passing, how the pass leads to, his single leads to my whizzer, leads to my quarter Nelson. And we're going to use that to end up passing his guard anyway, by extension, getting side control on the other side. Alright, so from here I'm coming through, and I can't get my underhook back. He comes up. He's going for that single, so I've got my whizzer in. He tries to circle to my back, and I use that torque. Now he might still be a little off to the side, so I'm going to ankle out. And with my whizzer in place, I've now loosened up his arm, so I can string my arm through. Previously I couldn't do that, couldn't get it through. But after I loosened him up, I've got the quarter Nelson. And now when he tries to circle to my back, I can force his head down, force him into a roll, hold on to his arm, and then come around to the other side with side control, keeping a hold of his arm until I stabilize side control A. All right, let's look at that again. There's some really good leverage in that quarter Nelson. So what I'm saying here is, you can make him think that he's doing something well, coming up with that underhook for a single, because he is. He's got a good position. But my quarter Nelson, my whizzer that is, leads to a quarter Nelson. They're kind of sister techniques. They relate to each other. One leads to the other. Force him into a roll, and I get side control on his left side. So I'm coming through. He gets his underhook. He sneaks it in. I got my whizzer in place. He tries to go for that single. I whip him there and stretch him out a bit, and then I get this. Get this quarter Nelson. Notice my thumb's out. My hand is on the side of his head, holding his head down. I'm going to, as he circles, I'm going to force his head down and force his shoulder beyond his head. He rolls. I hold on to him, and then I come around to the other side. This can also work with a reverse half Nelson. When I'm here, passing, he comes up the same way. And often with a gi, you can do this one too, where instead of a quarter Nelson, I get my hand all the way through this reverse half. I walk on this side of center axis and I grab his hip and I bring him over to side control to the side. I cross center and I pull his hip over, often when I have something to grab. Without the gi, I would go right to the quarter Nelson and force him into a roll. As soon as he tries to circle to my back. Remember, the purpose of the whizzer here is to put pressure, to keep him from circling to your back. It's a block, but it also puts that pressure on him so that he can't get as snug up against that leg and get better leverage against that leg to take me down.